Hello and welcome to another Tabitha's Glass Emporium YouTube video. We're doing a Halloween special. Today we are going to do some fantastic Halloween masks and using some pre-cut shapes and also some just scraps we've got maybe around the place. These are using our fantastic new crazy eyes that we've come up with, which we're loving. We've done a template for some ideas for you with some skulls and some monsters and zombies and a vampire and a pumpkin and a ghost and a witch. But you can also just use scraps, any scraps you've got, and just make some little ones. These can either be brooches, or you can put pendants or make them into fridge magnets, whatever you fancy. We've done it, all of these are made with 3mm bullseye glass. We've cut them on the Taurus saw, so the edges are nice and kind of not sharp, because I'm going to bring the kids in later to decorate a couple. But you can also cut them by hand if you don't have a Taurus saw. I mean, some of the shapes are a little bit harder to cut by hand, but you could just simplify them. So I've had a couple of questions about how to cut murrine cane, and I thought I could show you. So there are two different tools on the cheaper end of the range that you can use to cut murrine cane. One are the mosaic cutters. They're sort of these wheel cutters. And then the others are the Glass Pro mosaic nippers, which look like this. I definitely use nippers sometimes and cutters other times, depending on how I'm feeling. I use these. These are actually casting plaster making bowls, but because they're rubber, they absorb the shock of the murrine hitting them, and they tend to keep them in the bowl. Must be wearing glasses when you're cutting up cane, very important. So I tend to, so I can see, I can sort of look down and see where I'm cutting, and then just squeeze, and as you can see, it's just flying into the bowl. Because the bowl is rubber, it's absorbing the impact of the cane, and it doesn't tend to go flying off all over the place, hitting my co-workers. Now this is a piece of hollow cane. You will get these if you buy them off me. They're amazingly useful, and we're going to show you why today. But they can sometimes be a bit tricky to cut. They can break a bit. So watch out. We tend to not sell them when they get too thin and just do totally break. But we do sell them. So you can see, you can get some very wonderful, very expensive cutters out there to cut murrine. As yet, we haven't bought one. We do it all by hand, as most of them are made in America, and the shipping costs alone are extraordinary to Europe. So really decorating them is up to you. We have, in our Crazy Eye selection, we have 4 different types. We've got these sort of spring green snake eyes, which also have these crazy kind of red eyelash eyes. We've got these ones which are kind of like Egyptian eyes with the veins. We've got these ones that are sort of multicoloured eyes, and then we've got this, which is actually from other murrine that we've made, but we feel they look a bit like eyes. My particular favourites are these ones that I think look really great, that I used on this little fella, and I just think that looks totally like an eye. So I'm going to do a couple, I'll show you a couple, and then I'm going to sort of leave it to you to, be creative. So I love reactions, so I'm going to do this skull, and I want to do a mouth. But I want to try and get maybe a bit of reaction going on. So I've got a little bit of dense white here. Don't know if you know about dense white and French vanilla reaction if you're using bullseye. Someone on Facebook the other day was asking about it, and it's my favourite reaction. Still got my glasses on to protect my eye. I'm doing this pretty quickly. too much on the eye. You never want to use too much glue. If you use loads of glue, it can kind of bubble and evaporate and shift your work around. So do watch how much glue you're using. Of course, if you're doing stuff for someone else. These are 1/2 millimeter stringers. Just you can't. The only way you can use them is with. What I'm going to do is flip that over, and then I'll have some glue on this side. Now, I have to admit, I have forgotten to clean this glass before I've done this. I wanted to show you how, but you should all clean your glass before you do it, and in a minute I'll take everything off and clean it, but I want to keep showing you what I'm doing. So I want to do some teeth. Oop, where's he gone? I might need to get some tweezers. You ask and they shall appear. So I'm literally just breaking little bits off. And what I'm hoping is the French vanilla, which is the stringers, and the dense white, which is the background, will react together. And we'll get a nice grey halo between the two. This is only a tack fuse though, so you know, I may be asking for too much. I'm not sure if you know this, but the more work you do on something that's reactive, the more the bigger reaction you'll get. So if you put something back in a kiln, the reaction normally gets stronger after the second firing. So there's that. Now I'm going to put on a couple of these. These are actually part of my petrified wood turquoise range, which I love. I've recently done. I think they're going to be pretty cool for some skulls. Now noses. I think that skulls' noses often look like beans. But that's quite a hard shape to do without a Taurus saw. I'm just using a pair of mosaic nippers to sort of nip a shape that I like. So it's a bit bigger than I want, but what I'm going to do is the eyes are a bit small. So I've got also, that was a stringer from Bullseye that I used, and these are our hand pulled vitrigraph stringers. So I think she's done, she's sorted, she's got her eyelashes on. I'm not sure she's the scariest skull, but it will be interesting when she's all melted together. So we're going to have a go at a few others here and show you what we come up with. So the other thing I wanted to show you was how to utilise murrine which are hollow. We sell the murrine that are hollow because they're brilliant to use for various different projects, and this is one thing you can do with them. So here we go, I've got a vampire, and with his eyes it's hollow, so I can use a stringer and put it in the middle, and it gives a different dimension to his eyes. There's one that's slightly bigger than the eye, so when it melts down on a tack fuse it's going to look really interesting. Plus I could have chosen a yellow, one green, one yellow stringer and given him kind of multicoloured eyes. The other thing we do is not only just using the templates, is to use a little bit of scrap to make a monster. We've also used frit balls. I make these literally with any kind of scrap I have and create lots and lots of frit balls of different sizes. I don't necessarily give the kids the dichroic ones to use, but these are great for kids to use in their projects. They love them, they can play around with them. My kids will spend hours playing with these. So a little scrap monster. Trying to see the monster in the glass. Quite like this wobbly edge. So you can literally just, I sort of feel it's a little one-eyed monster. Again, you should be cleaning your glass, but I'm just getting on with it. Bit of scrap, bit of eyebrow. In fact, I may just do my favourite, which is give them a moustache. I'm a rather big fan of giving them moustaches. And our vitrigraph stringers, you get some great shapes. Cut that off, and it's like a moustache. Give him a little nose. Nose. And that's his fantastic moustache. And you get the idea. You can just build it up and do whatever you want. We can add a little spider's web to his head. Anything you feel like. So we've made some already. Done a fantastic witch here. I'm loving her. Kind of cool monster. The skull you saw earlier. And these are another bit of scrap ones. A three-eyed monster. So the sunlight's created, meaning that it's like harder to see them. There's a little zombie type creature, fantastic pumpkin, and another couple of scrap ones. And my daughters are going to come in a minute, and we can do the rest of the skulls and ghosts. So here are my daughters, Riva and Lina, who are going to do some kiddie decoration in March. So are we excited? Are we Halloween excited? Yes. Can you do Halloween impressions? Best Halloween impressions for me? I don't know what you are. So
Happy Halloween!
Brilliant. So you guys, I'm going to just squirt and put a load of glue.
I want to put some glue.
Okay, you put some glue on and get decorating. You're going to put some blood on, River.
Yeah.
You're doing great jobs, girls.
I'm going to add a bit of... I'm going to put the blood. A bit of blood on the forehead. A little bit of blood all around.
So we're talking about making magnets. Now I get this stuff which is like it's sticky back magnets. All you need to do is cut it to the size, and you put it on the back like this, and then it will stick to anything metal. And they're simple. So, girlies, how are we doing? What do we want? What would you like?
Oh, we can add them to our locker.
What would you like on your... What's missing on your monsters? Do you need a nose?
Yeah.
What
My
kind of
nose.
You have?
First, I need to put the rest of these eyelashes.
I think you guys have done a fantastic job. Have you had fun?
Yeah.
Brilliant.